Hello and welcome to another episode of The Bark. I'm Josh Doering.
And I'm Josh Mullenix.
We have a great show for you today, including a brand new segment. But first, we've got a recap of baseball taking on Southern Illinois this past weekend.
Butler baseball is off to a strong start this year, but has a tough season ahead in Big East play. First, they had a 3-game series against Southern Illinois. Unfortunately, 2 of those 3 games were canceled due to weather. But we still have the highlights from Game 1. Here's the action.
Starting off in the second inning with a runner on second, Nathan Dill rips one into deep left center, scoring is McGrath all the way from first base. This gives the Bulldogs an early 1-0 lead on Southern Illinois. Now in the same inning, Zach Jarod's at the plate, slaps one into center, scoring is Dill. He's a guy that got that first RBI. Now Butler has a 2-0 lead after 2 innings. Southern Illinois was staying in the game here. Addison Puget at the plate. He hits a base hit up the middle. Scoring on the play was Alex Leone. Salukis trimmed the deficit to 1. Scores 2-1 in the 3rd inning. Now following the 2-run home run by Harrison Freed, putting the Dogs up 4-1, Dill stands back in. He grounds out, but it's good enough to get another run as he gets his second RBI of the day, and the Bulldogs take a 5-1 advantage after just 3 innings. Butler struggled at closing out this game, and right here catcher Zach Parker throws it away, allowing Philip Archer to score and trimming the Bulldog lead to just 1, as the score was 5-4 in the 7th. But the Bulldogs eventually calmed down in this one, as Butler closer Jack Pilcher gets the rollover to end it, and the Bulldogs win by a final score of 5-4. Pepio gets the win, Pilcher gets the save, and the Bulldogs are now 16-10 on the year, and have their first Big East game at home on April 5th versus St. John's.
Thanks, Will. I'm here with baseball analyst Sam Barasch. Sam, baseball team 16-9 at this point in the season, about to start Big East play. What's been the keys to their success this season?
Well, the biggest key to their success this year has without a doubt been their pitching. Entering Big East play this weekend, they have the lowest cumulative team ERA, sitting at a 2.6, and the next closest one is Creighton, who's sitting at like a 3.5, so it's not even comparable. They have multiple pitchers who have been throwing sensational. Kevin Napoli, he's had Napoleon, I should say, he's had 2 starts, 7 total appearances. He's sitting at a 1.2 ERA. We have Connor Schultz, he got Big East pitcher of the week. He's had 6 starts, won all 6 starts, has 40 strikeouts on the year, has a 1.5 ERA, and the pitching just isn't at the top. It's also the entire team. There's been freshman Alex Voss, he's gotten a couple starts. He just got in this last week against Southern Illinois, and he closed out them for the Dogs, getting them the win. So it's just really been the pitching from top to bottom has really been fantastic for the Dogs.
So at this point in the season, competition's really going to ramp up. They start with St. John's, who's always at the top of the Big East. What are the keys to having a successful Big East play? What do they need to improve on?
Well, the biggest keys they have to have is having confidence, both offensively and defensively on the ball. They got to get out to the game early. They can't get behind. It's not that the Dogs necessarily struggle playing behind, but when you can see when they get ahead early in the game, they play a different type of ball and they don't take their foot off the gas pedal. So I'd definitely say confidence is the first thing, is the biggest key moving forward. Second thing is just their offense as a whole. Don't get me wrong, they have Harrison Freed, who has been absolutely sensational this year. He's batting .408. He's leading the team in home runs, hits, and RBIs. But beyond that, the offense has been kind of hit or miss. So I definitely think a consistent offense would be the next big step for the Dogs. And then finally, just leaving no doubt. That's been their motto all year, is making sure that on the field with the Big East and with every opponent they play, that they leave no doubt that they're the better team on the field.
Thanks, Sam. Coming up next, Bark reporter Mosin Warich sat down with Pat Algier in this week's Athlete Spotlight.
Hey Bulldog fans, welcome to this week's Athlete Spotlight. I'm here with junior golfer Patrick Algier. Patrick's from Fort Wayne. Grown up as an Indiana kid, how was it like coming to Butler and having the opportunity to golf here?
Yeah, so the opportunity that I've had here has been great. I got started with Coach Maddenley, come to some of my high school events in the summertime, and then in the wintertime when I'd play in tournaments. And he just recruited me, asked me to come visit Butler. When I visited Butler, I fell in love with the campus, the culture that was here, and being 2 hours away from home, it's a home away from home now. and it's been great. Playing Division I golf has been a dream of mine, and I'm glad I could make that a reality.
That's fantastic. Some people might be wondering why golf. I'm guessing you grew up playing your entire life, and what other things have you been involved with as far as athletics? And talking about that.
Yeah, so golf is a pretty different sport, not your typical basketball, football, soccer, big team sport. And I played them all growing up, but I just kind of fell in love with golf and the individual aspect, but as well as the team aspect. Really, with golf, you get in what you put, and you get out of it what you put into it. Where other sports, you can kind of hide by your other teammates. Where golf, you get every result that's you. And I really got into it because my mom's dad, my grandfather, he was in the golf business, and when I was growing up and he'd be around our house, he'd always take me to the course, and just, it started with driving the golf cart when I was little to get me out there and then practice and play with him and then play with my dad. And now back home I have a bunch of friends that we all go out and play, and it's a fun sport to play, and I just really loved it, and that's why I chose golf. I know it just appeals to me.
That's fantastic. A lot of people think, golf's not really, have to be a physical specimen to play it. You see some guys like Phil Mickelson who kind of looks like, an older guy, not in the best shape. But yeah. I know you have a T-shirt that says golfers are athletes too. Mm-hmm. So describe the work ethic and the type of, strength and conditioning work that you need to do to be a golfer and, Division I golfer. Yeah, so a lot of people, I guess, think golf, it's not a sport. While it is a sport, because you see a bunch of, average Joes out there. You see John Daly, who's, a little bigger. Then you see young guys like Justin Thomas, who's pretty slim and fit and playing golf. And that's the beauty about golf, anyone can play it, and it's a sport that's welcoming to all, which is awesome. And you can play it for many years, unlike some other sports. And I guess I really enjoy the sport of golf and how it's individualized, and with it being its own sport. So, Patrick, if you could play a round of 18 with any golfer, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Okay, so I'd go with Tiger Woods probably for sure is one. Maybe Jack Nicklaus is two, and then maybe, I don't know, a third. Maybe my dad could just make it the dream foursome. He could play with us too. That sounds like fun. All right, Patrick, one more question for you. On campus here at Butler, we got C Club, a little on-campus market. We can get your little, some snacks and whatnot. What's your go-to item there and why, man? Yeah, so for a snack at C Club, I'm a big guy for cookies and milk late night. So that's the go-to. Chocolate chip cookie, a little warm, and dip them in milk, and we'll be good. I love that combo. Patrick, thanks for joining me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Mosin. I'm here with women's basketball analyst Nick Kuster. Nick, the Bulldogs season ended in the Sweet 16 of the WNIT with the loss at Cincinnati. Now that the season is over, what are the biggest takeaways, or what is the legacy that this team is going to leave?
I think it's important to state with that Cincinnati game too, they were winning going into that fourth quarter, and then they got outscored 24-9 and ultimately lost by 7. So they really should have won that game in Cincinnati. The season as a whole, this is the best season this women's team's ever had, and they were really on the verge of making the women's NCAA tournament, and then they lost at home to Georgetown. They didn't lose at home to Georgetown by such a big margin, and then they went into the Big East tournament, their first game as a 3 seed, losing to the 6 seed Creighton. If they wouldn't have lost those 2 games and won those 2 games instead, they could have made it into the WNCAA tournament.
And now looking forward, this team loses its heart and soul in Michelle Weaver, Tori Schickel, and Whitney Jennings. So what can we expect this year, and what players are going to need to take a step forward as this team progresses into 2019-20?
Yeah, you're losing so much out of a basketball team. Whitney Jennings, your leading scorer, Tori Schickel, the all-time leading rebounder here, and Michelle Weaver was really a glue piece to this team, both defensively and offensively. Next year, you got to see the 2 other starters step up. Krista Spolier kind of started to do that this year, and Shea Bry also kind of needs to do that, but then the bench barely scored this year. You really need a larger output because they're going to have to become starters next year.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nick. Black reporter Jarod Lipson has a recap of the lacrosse game against Cincinnati.
We've got Butler, we've got Cincinnati, we've got lacrosse at Gettler Stadium. Let's go. Cincinnati's Alyssa Adams gets on the board first. Cincinnati will take a 3-0 lead. Let's skip ahead. Kayla Callahan finds Ashley Guerra on a fast break. She's headed to the net. The defense tries to stop her. They try, they can't. Bingo! That's a goal for Ashley Guerra, 3-1. Got more Butler. It's Haley Hallenbeck. She puts it in, 3-2. Butler's coming back. Cincinnati's Sam Milkey is going to get on the board here. We're going to keep a long story short. Cincinnati will score 13 straight goals to take a 16-2 lead. Empty net for Haughey Hall, and she doesn't miss it. 16-3, closing in on that gap. Butler's got some momentum now. Guerra to Callahan to the net. That's a goal. 2 straight for the Dogs. We go for 3, why not? Here's Guerra. Score. 16-5. Get past some Cincinnati goals. Here's Haughey Hall for the score. Cincinnati's Kylie Noss gets the last goal of the game. 19-6 is the final.
Thanks, Jarod. In our last segment of the show, Buck reporter Sam Phifer takes his talents to the court at Hinkle in this trick shot video.
I'm Spencer Fairbanks. Come on, let's do some trick shots. My dad would try to bring me up playing basketball outside, got us a couple goals. I mean, went to church league at a pretty young age, probably 10. That's how I met most of my friends, but I mean, I always wanted to be a D1 basketball player. I just didn't get the height for it. I mean, I was able to dunk in 7th grade, and then I broke my knee kind of in a bike accident. Kind of shot my chances. I kind of shrunk a little bit, honestly. But I mean, I scored, I think it was 82 points my freshman year. My first ball game, so I mean, scouts were looking at me from a young age. But I ended up playing golf though, so no more golf. Let's play ball. I really try and replicate my basketball game, my golf game after Larry Bird, because he really plays both sides of the ball. And his offense, his defense really combined to make a good golf game. And on the other hand, when he swings a club, he usually makes, I think it was 85, 99% of his threes. And I really try and channel that in both my golf and my basketball abilities right now. Because one time my mom said, if you ain't Larry Bird, then you're last. I'm worn out, bro. I'm a golfer.
That's all we have for this week's episode of The Bark. Thanks for watching. I'm Josh Doering.
And I'm Josh Mullenix. Have a great rest of your week, and
Go Dogs!